या देवी स्तूयते नित्यं विबुधैर्वेदपारकैः सा मे बसति जिह्वाग्रे ब्रह्मरूपा सरस्वती। या श्रद्धा धारणा मेधा वाग्देवी विधिवल्लभा भक्तजिह्वाग्रसदना शमादि गुणधायिनी। नमामि नारायण पादपङ्कजं करोमि नारायण पूजनं सदा वदामि नारायण नामनिर्मलं स्मरामि नारायण तत्त्वमव्ययम्। यस्य प्रसादात् अहमेव विष्णुः मय्येव सर्वं परिकल्पितं च इत्थं विजानामि सदात्मरूपं तस्याङ्घ्रिपद्मं प्रणतोऽस्मि नित्यम्। अपार करुणासिन्धुं ज्ञानदं शान्तरूपिणं श्रीचन्द्रशेखरेन्द्रगुरुं नमामि मुदान्वहम्। ध्यानमूलं गुरोर्मूर्तिः पूजामूलं गुरोः पदं मन्त्रमूलं गुरोर्वाक्यं मोक्षमूलं गुरोः कृपा. Invoking the grace of Vagdevi Goddess Saraswati, Guru Ayappan, Mahapriyava and Guru Parampara, we are now entering into Dasakam number 25 called Narasimha Avatara Varnanam, verse number 1. Stambe Gattayato Hiranyakashipo Karnau Samachurnayan Aghurna Jagadanda Kundakuharo Ghorastava Bhutravaha Shutva Yam Kila Daityaraja Hridaye Purvam Kadhapyashrudam Kambah Kaschana Sampapata Chalitopi Amboja Bhurvishtarat Stambe Gattayato Hiranyakashipo Karnau Samachurnayan Aghurna Jagadanda Kundakuharo Ghorastava Bhutravaha Shutva Yam Kila Daitya Raja Hridaye Purvam Kadhapyashrutam Kampah Kaschana Sampapata Chalito Piyambhoja Bhur Vishtarat. Anvaya Stambe Gattayataha Hiranyakashipoho Karnau Samachurnayan Aghurna Jagadanda Kundakuharaha Ghoraha Tava Ravaha Abhut Purvam Kada Api Ashrudam Kila Yam Shutva Daitya Raja Hridaye Kaschana Kambaha Sampapata Ambhoja Bhuhu Api Vishtarat Chalitaha. Or it can be written as Vishtapat, means Satyaloka. The meaning is Stambe Gattayataha, who was striking at the pillar. Hiranyakashipu, of the Hiranyakashipu. Karnau Samachurnayan. Samachurnayan means Samyak Churnayan, splitting the ears. Aghurna Jagadanda Kunda Kuharaha, a Samasa word. Aghurnat means shaking severely or violently. Jagadandam means Brahmanda. Kundam means a vessel. Kuharam means inside the space, means which made everything inside the vessel of Brahmanda. That means the Brahmaloka, after Brahmaloka, trembled. Then Goraha, frightening. Tava Ravaha Abhut, was thy roar. Purvam Kada Api Ashrudam Kila, which had indeed never been heard before. Yam Shrutva, hearing which, Daitya Raja Hridaye, in the heart of the Asura king, Kaschana Kampaha, an indescribable trembling, Sampapata, arose, Ambhojabuhu Api, even the lotus-born Brahma, Vishtarat, from his seat, Chalitaha, was shaken. Or we can use also Vishtapat, means from Satyaloka. So thy frightening roar split the ears of Hiranyakashipu, who was striking at the pillar with great strength, of course, and made everything inside the vessel of Brahmanda or the cosmos tremble. On hearing this noise, which had never been heard before, an indescribable trembling arose in the heart of the Asura king. Even the lotus-born Brahma was shaken from his seat, or shaken from the Satyaloka. Vishtapat means Satyaloka. Vishtarat means from the seat. Now this is a continuation of the Dasaka, verse 10 of the Dasaka 24, the last verse. What happened was described there. That Hiranyakashipu, with great anger, with great strength, struck at the pillar. And what happened is described here. Prior to that, in Bhagavata also, in verse number 12, it was mentioned here, in verse number 13, Hiranyakashipu asks the son, Yastvaya mantabhagyokto madhanyo jagadishwaraha kvasau yadisa sarvatra kasmas stambena drishyate. This is in Bhagavata chapter 7, Skanda 7, chapter 8, verse number 13. Hiranyakashipu asks, he says, Mandabhagya, unfortunate Prahalada, you have always described your Supreme Being other than me as a God, and that Supreme Being who is above everything, who is the controller of the universe, and who is all-pervading, where is he? He is not to be seen. That's what he's asking. Because what he saw before was only the pillar. If he is everywhere, then why is he not present before me in this pillar? This is how he asked. Kvaso yadisa sarvatra. If he is everywhere, kasmat stambena drishyate. Why he is not seen in the pillar? Already Prahlada has said that the Lord is the source of strength. He is the three world. Now he could not see Lord in other form. That's what it means. He saw Vishnu only in one particular form. So when he saw the pillar, he only saw the pillar. He did not see that in the pillar what is behind also is also Lord Vishnu. That's why he is asking this question born of ignorance. So with that, he concluded that Prahlada had made a wrong statement that Lord is there everywhere. So he said, he is not in this pillar. Show me he is not there. Like that he is asking. And then that verse, next verse continues in Bhagavata, which says, Soham vikattamanasya shiraha kayat haramite gopayeda haristvadya yaste saranam ipsitam. So saying, because you are speaking so much vikattamana, means something nonsense or making sense, I am going to sever your head from your body. Haramite shiraha, that's what he says. Kayat, from the body. Now let me see your worshipable God, whether he will come to protect you. I want to see your protector. That's how he makes a statement like this. He wants to test. So his intention was now to kill Hiranyaksha because he concluded the Lord is not in the pillar. But then the next verse, in the verse number 15, it was mentioned that he took the pillar, he took the sword and hit at the pillar. Because then he concluded that probably even if he's trying to kill Hiranyaksha, his Lord will protect him. So let me first find out whether the Lord is in the pillar. So let me try to hit the pillar. And Narayana is killed there, he did not make. Therefore there is an apparent contradiction in what he said. He wanted to kill Prahlada, but then he hit at the pillar. And while hitting the pillar, Bhattadeva said that he was asking the last verse, the second number 10, he said, where is he? Where is that Hari? The word used is Kvasau Harihi, Hari Hari. The word Hari has got two connotations. It's also a Nama coming in the Vishnu Sahasranama, very commonly used verse, the 650th verse, where it says, Hari, normally the literal meaning of the word Hari is one who kills the Asuras, or the killer, or the destroyer. The other meaning is, Hari is one who destroys our papas. Sarvan papan harati. In this context here, this is applicable to all. The Lord is a Hari because he destroys our papas. By that, he removes our samsara, he removes the bondage. Shankara says in Vishnu Sahasranama, Sa hetuka samsaram haratiti harihi. That means the Lord is called Hari because he removes. What does he remove? He removes all our papas. He removes also the samsara along with his cause, that is the self-ignorance. By destroying our papas, he also removes the obstacles that cause the for removal of ignorance. When the obstacle is removed, the knowledge takes place. So by removing our papas, he gives that knowledge. Through that, one is free from the bondage of samsara. Hence he is called Hari. That is the meaning of the word. Here that word has also got relevance because we have to remember here also the Hiranyakashipu only by curse of the Sanakadis only he had to come down, take a birth, and through Sambramba Yoga, hatred, he has to go back to Lord. So he is also seeking the moksha only. He also wanted destruction of his papas so that he can gain the Lord. Implied in that also. That is why Bhattatiribhata has used the word Hari, which is to be noted here also. So that thus he asked. Then when he struck at the pillar, what happened was that the sound which came out of the pillar was so fierce. When Hiranyakashipu struck at the pillar, what happened was an indescribable, wild or frightening roar of Narasimha was heard. That split the ears of Hiranyakashipu and shook the entire Brahmanda. Since the noise also was unprecedented, it is said, not heard before. Hiranyakashipu developed indirectly an indescribable tremor within himself. Even the Brahma was taken aback and shaken from his throne, from his Satyaloka. That's what this verse talks about. And similar message also is conveyed in verse number 617 of chapter Bhagavatam, where it is mentioned, I will repeat the verse, Sa Vikraman Putra Vadhepsu Rojasa Nisamya Nirhradam Apurva Madbudam Antasabayamna Dadarsha Satpadam Vidatra Suryena Surari Yutapaha. Where he says that while showing his extraordinary prowess means a Vikraman. That the word uses Vikraman. Hiranyakashipu showing his extraordinary prowess, who desired to kill his own son. The word uses Putra Vadehu Apsuhu. With Ojasa, means with great strength, he hit the pillar. Then the tumultuous sound came from which had never been heard. It is said that Nirhadam, the word uses that Nirhradam means that was shaking the heart, means that was a very fierce sound, and this words used by the Bhagavatam is, it is Apurvam and Adbhutam. Apurvam means that which is not heard before, because such a noise was never heard here. It means it's a roar, it is not a sound. And Adbhutam means wonderful, because the Lord is not going to come, he is going to come in the form of a Narasimha. That is why the Rupa is Adbhutam, that is being talked about here. So it was a wonderstruck, because earlier also the Lord Bhattatiribhata used the word Ascharyam. Now in Bhagavata the word here is Adbhutam. So the sound was both Apurvam, not heard before, the sound was also Adbhutam. Adbhutam means that makes everybody wonder. And thus such a Lord, he came, and none of the demons, it is mentioned, that could find the origin of the sound. It says that Antasabayam na dadarsha tatpadam. They could not, who are in the assembly of demons, they could not. And they were driven by the fear. Vidatrasuhu became afraid of that. Yena, by that sound. All the other leaders also of the demon. Means not only the Hiranyakashipu was afraid, the entire leaders of the Asura assembly. It is talked about Surar Yutapaha, means that all the other leaders also got afraid of this sound, hearing this sound, because they were now foreseeing something worse is going to happen. And such was the intensity of the sound which came when Hiranyakashipu struck the pillar, because the Lord is going to manifest in the form of a Narasimha. And therefore, the Adbhudam, Apurvam, these words are used to indicate that it is something which is very unique, which is not heard before. And in this connection, this is signifying the avatar, the Lord's avatar as Narasimha, that is being pointed out. In this connection, I would like to also quote that thing, one verse from Dasakam, which says, Eko Vishtur Mahad Bhuta Pratak Bhudan Anekasaha Trin Lokan Vyapya Bhugdatma Bhungte Vishwa Bhuga Vyaha. That Lord, Eko Vishnu Mahad Bhutam, it is Adbhutam, the same word is used. Trin Lokan Sankarabhi, he is the Lord of all the three worlds. He is the one who is protecting the universe. He can also swallow the universe. The intention they are given is that Lord is going to take this avatar to kill the Hiranyakashipu, because he is taking a fierce form he is going to take, and he has produced a roar. And that is what is being indicated here also. And we will go into the verse number 2 in the next session. Namostute Mahayogin Prapanna Manushadimam Yata Tvacharanam Bhoje Ritihi Syad Anapayayini. भवे भवे यथा भक्तिः पादयोस्तव जायते तथा कुरुष्व देवेश नातस्त्वं नो जयत प्रभो नाम संकीर्तनभ्यस्य सर्वपापप्रणाशनं प्रणामो दुःखशमनः तं नमामि हरिं परं। नारायण अखिलगुरो भगवन्नमस्ते हरि ओम्। या देवी स्तूयते नित्यं विबुधैर्वेदपारगैः सा मे वसतु जिह्वाग्रे ब्रह्मरूपा सरस्वती। या श्रद्धा धारणा मेधा वाग्देवी विधिवल्लभा भक्तजिह्वाग्रसदना शमादिगुणदायिनी। नमामि नारायण पादपङ्कजं करोमि नारायण पूजनं सदा वदामि नारायण नाम निर्मलं स्मरामि नारायण तत्त्वमव्ययम्। अपार करुणा सिन्धुं ज्ञानदं शान्तरूपिणं श्री चन्द्रशेखरेन्द्र गुरुं नमामि भूतान्वहम्। यस्य प्रसादात् अहमेव विष्णुः मय्येव सर्वं परिकल्पितं च इत्थं विजानामि सदात्मरूपं तस्याङ्घ्रिपद्मं प्रणतोऽस्मि नित्यं। ध्यानमूलं गुरोर्मूर्तिः पूजामूलं गुरोः पदं मंत्रमूलं गुरोर्वाक्यं मोक्षमूलं गुरोः कृपा। Invoking the grace of Vagdevi, Goddess Saraswati, Guru Vairappan, Mahapariva and Guru Parampara, we are now entering into verse number 2 of Dasakam 25. Prior to that, I would like to also comment about I didn't make a mention about the syllables in this. This entire Dasakam is in the meter called Shardula Vikritida. Shardula Vikritida means that is the name of the meter. It contains 19 syllables. And of course, the entire Dasaka is nothing but a summarization of 7th Skanda, chapter 8 and 9. Chapter 8 is from 16th verse onwards, to be more precise. We will now go into the verse number 2. Dvaitye dikshu visishta chakshusi maha sambrambini stambataha sambhutam na mrigatmakam na manujakaram vapusthe vibho kim kim bhishana meta adbhutamiti yudbranta chitte sure vispurjad dhavalogra roma vikasad harshma sama jrimpataha. Dvaitye dikshu visrishta chakshusi maha sambrambhini stampatah sambhutam na mrigatmagam na manujakaram vapuste vibho kim kim bhishana metadadbhutamiti vyudbranta chitte sure vispurchat davalogra roma vikasat varshma samajrimpataha. Anvaya maha sambrambini daitye dikshu visishta chakshushi he vibho stambataha na mrigatmakam na manujakaram te vapuhu sambhutam asure bhishanam adbhutam etat kim kim iti vyudbranta chitte vispurja davalogra roma vikasat varshma samajrimpataha. This is the Anvaya. We'll go into the meaning now. Maha Sambrambini Daitye. Daitye means the Asura who was extremely Sambrambini, angry or fierce with anger, maybe. Dikshu, in all directions. Visrishta Chakshushi, his eyes roaming. He Vibho, O Lord. Stampataha, from the pillar. Na mrigatmagam, not of the form of an animal. Na manujakaram, nor of a human form. Te vapuhu, thy form. Sambhudam, emerged. Asure, the Asura, who was Bhishanam Adbhudam Etat Kim Kim. What is this terrifying and wonderful? Iti Vyudbranta Chitte. Thus, in an agitated state of mind, Vispurjat Dhavalogra Roma Vikasat Varshma. That is a bit like this. Vispurjat means expanding. Davalogra Roma. Davala means white. Roma means sharp hair. Vikasat means shining or bristling. Varshma means body, vapuhu. So one with a body on which the white sharp hairs were bristling or shining. Sama jrimpataha, thou did grow into. So when the eyes of the Asura, who was extremely angry, were roaming in all directions to find out the cause of the noise, O Lord, thy form, which was neither that of an animal nor of a human being, emerged from the pillar. While the Asura was wondering in an agitated state of mind what this terrifying and wonderful being was, thou did grow into a huge form with white, sharp hairs bristling. So the avatar of the Lord is now talked about in this verse. The Lord is addressed here as O Bibho, means the one who is the ruler of the Lord of the three worlds. The same Bibho is used here also, and one who is in all forms. That is being expressed here very clearly. Here it's mentioned here that Sambharambani Daitya said, the Asura was extremely angry, or was having fierce hatred with the Lord. You should remember that Hiranyakashipu is nothing but because of the curse of Sanakadika, he had to come to the earth through the Sambramba Yoga. He has to attain the Lord's feet. That's why the word Sambramba is repeated here. Sambramba means full hatred. That is called Sambramba Yoga. So with total enmity towards the Lord. That is the meaning of that. So that is being talked about again here. That anger is being expressed here as the Sambramba, the Asura who was extremely angry. And his form is also described here as Bhishanam, means frightening, and Adbhutam, wonderful. Bhishanam because the form is fierce, and wonderful because it cannot be classified as under one category. It is a combination. It is na naraha na mrigaha. It is neither of the human being nor of the mriga. It's a combination of the both. We have to understand here that Hiranyakashipu, when he asked for the boon from Lord Brahmaji, he said that I should not be killed by any creation of yours, and any other creation, neither by a human being nor by a animal. Na naraha na mrigaha, he asked. So the first condition is should not be Brahma's creation. This coming from the pillar is not Brahma's creation. It is Ishvara himself has come. That's why he is called as Ajaha also here. So it is the creation is not of Brahmaji. Now he has to make sure that it is neither Nara nor Mriga, neither human being nor an animal. Therefore the Lord assumed the form of a lion and body, head of a lion and the body of a human being. This indeed is very Adbhutam. That's why it's called Adbhutam. Ascharyadopi Ascharyam. The same word is talked about here. Adbhutam eva. Or can be also said as Atyadbhutam. In Bhagavata the word uses Atyadbhutam. And the state of the mind of Hiranyakashipu also is talked about as Vibhranta Chittaha. He is in a very agitated and deluded state of mind. So he does not have any rational in terms of thinking. So he was looking around all directions. When the Lord was coming out from the pillar, he was looking from all, because he could not understand from where the sound came. And another word here also is said that Samyak Drimpataha. Samyak means Samha Drimpataha means Samyak Drimpataha means fully grown. A mighty form fully grown. That is the meaning implication here. So when Hiranyakashipu stuck at the pillar, simultaneously a frightening sound which shook the entire cosmos took place. Hiranyakashipu looked at all directions in a very dismayed manner. Neither human nor animal form emerged from the pillar. So he was confused state of mind and wondering as what this horrendous or wondrous being could be. And this wonderful divine form gradually grew into a mighty form with white, brilliant, terrifying manner. See, the words used here is the description given as the white, sharp hairs were bristling. From this one can conclude that it is resembling the lion. Because directly Bhattatribhada has not used the word, nor in the Bhagavatam first they say. Bhattatribhada used the word as Mriga. Mriga means animal. Of course, lion is the king of the animals, so the animals, therefore Mriga can be interpreted as lion also. But from the description also it is given here indirectly that it is a lion, because with the body on which the white sharp hairs shining was there, so that resembles the lion. So that is a form, mighty form, which is white, brilliant, terrifying mane. So, as per Brahma's boon, it was not Srishti, that because he came from the pillar, and it is na naraha, na mrigaha, but it is naramrigaha, because he has not talked about that naramriga can kill me. Therefore, Lord took the form of a naramriga. That is the meaning of this verse. At this time, we will also go through what the Bhagavata also says on this. Those verses are also worth reading. Satyam vidatum nijabritya bhashitam, verse number 18. Chapter number 8, Saptamaskanda. Satyam vidatum nijabritya bhashitam vyaptim cha bhuteshvakileshu chatmanaha adrishyatatyadbhuta rupamudvahan stambe sabhayam na mrigam na manusham. Meaning is, Satyam vidatum nijabritya bhashitam. Satyam means true, to prove that the words of his own servant. Nijabritya means own servant. Nija means true, or a true devotee we can say. Nija means own. That means Prahlada is considered to be the supreme devotee, highest for devotee. Therefore, he says, Prahlada is my form. That's why the word uses Nijabritya, own servant. To prove the words of the own servant, Nijabritya Bhashitam, Prahlada, who said Lord is present everywhere, pervading amongst all the living entities. Vyaptim cha bhuteshu akileshu cha atmanaha. That's the word used here. Bhuteshu means of the elements, and atmana of himself. Vyapti means pervading. So, pervading in all the human being, the living entities, and all the elements. All of Shristi himself means atmana means the creations of the Lord himself. Adrishyata was seen a most adbhuta rupam udvahan. Atyadbhutam is the word used, a wonderful form, means he is the wonder of the wonder. Ascharyadopi ascharyam. This is more, cannot be explained beyond words. That's the meaning word atyadbhutam. Udvahan means assume the form. Where he assumed? Stambe, in that pillar, from the pillar, or in the pillar it came. It means Sabhayam, in the assembly of Hiranyakashup's all demons. Na mrigam na manusham. A rupam, a form which emerged, which is neither the mriga, means animal, nor manusham, the human being. That means in that pillar, Sabhayam, in the assembly, emerged a form which is neither that of a man or of a lion. It's a combination of human form and lion. In fact, Bhaktatripad also uses this word Narasimha Papu only in the subsequent verses. I think somewhere in verse 4 or so. So, this is the meaning of this verse. And the next verse also will go through. Sasatvamenam paritopi pashyan stambasya madhyad anunirjihanam nayam mrigonapi naro vichitram aho kimetat nirmrigendra rupam. Says, when Hiranyakashipu looked around to find out the source, paritaha vipashyan, it says. Sarvam paritaha satvamenam paritopi pashyan, means looking around in all directions to find out the source of the sound, of course. Then that wonderful form, vichitra, the word uses vichitraha, is the word you hear. There adbhutam is pitched in a different manner, vichitraha, that wonderful form which could not be assented to be either a man or a lion. That is why it's vichitra. Nayam mrigaha, napi naraha, vichitraha. The vichitra is a qualifying word to qualify that is neither mriga nor the naraha, human form. So neither an animal nor a mriga, means lion also you can take, or a human form, which could not be concluded as a human being or a lion, emerged from the pillar. Stambasya madhyad anu nirjihana, means came out, emerged from the pillar. Stambasya madhye, emerged from the pillar, a form like this. Then Hiranyakashipu, means alas, wondered. What is this creature? Assuming the form of both a man and a king, means a beast. He says here, Sastattvamenam nayam mrigo, aho kim etad nirmrigendra rupam. Nir means human, mriga means animal. So what is this form which is assuming both the mriga and and human also. Human and lion. It's very noteworthy because why is wondering? Because he was also wondering that when I asked for boon from Brahmaji, I asked only Mriga and Nara. I never thought that a form of combination of Mriga and human, Nripa, because Naraha and Mriga together. If I had known that yes, there could be a form of Naramriga, then I would have asked Naramriga also. I didn't ask for that because I never assumed that there will be such a creation. That is what is that wonder is being expressed here. He says, "Hello, oh alas, I didn't ask for this boon. Had I asked for this boon, probably I would have been saved from this. I missed this. So I never thought this could happen." So that wonder is being talked about to explain that he did not ask for the boon of Naramriga, and this is himself is a greatest wonder. And with this kind of wonder, Hiranyakashipu was wonderstruck, and he was dismayed and agitated all around. That's how these two concludes. We'll continue in verse number 3 in the next session. Namostute Mahayogin Prapanna Manushadimam Yata Tacharanam Boje Ritisyad Anapayayini Bhave Yatha Bhakti Padayosta Bhajayate Tata Kurushadev Sanatastam Nojada Prabhu Nama Sankirtanam Yasya Sarvabhava Pranasram Pranamo Dukkasamanaha Tam Namami Harim Param Narayana Akila Guru Bhagavan Namaste Ya Devi Stuyade Nityam Vibhuder Veda Parakaihi Same Vasati Jihvagre Brahma Rupa Saraswati Ya Shraddha Dharana Medha Vag Devi Vidhi Vallabha Bhakta Jihvagra Sadhana Shamadhi Gunasayini Namami Narayana Pada Pankajam Karomi Narayana Pujanam Sada Vadami Narayana Nama Nirmalam Smarami Narayana Tattvam Abhyayam Yasya Prasadat Ahame Vishnuhu Mayeva Sarvam Parikalpitam Cha Ittam Vijanam Isadat Rupam Tasyankri Padmam Pranatosmi Nityam Dhyana Mulam Gurur Murtihi Puja Mulam Gurur Padam Mantra Mulam Gurur Vakyam Moksha Mulam Gurur Kripa Apara Karana Sintum Jnanatam Shantarupinam Sri Chandrasekharendra Gurum Namami Mudhanvaham. Invoking the grace of Vagdevi Goddess Saraswati, Guru Ayappan, Mahaperiva and Guru Parampara, we are now moving on to verse number 3 of Dasakam 25. Taptasvarna savarna gur nadati rukshaksham satakesara protkampa pranikumbitam baramaho jiyata vedam vapuhu vyapta mahadari sakamukam kadgogra valgan maha Jihva nirgama drishyamana sumaha damshtra yugodhamaram tapta swarna savarna ghurna dadi rukshaksham satakesara protkampa pranikumbitam baramaho jiyata vedam vapuhu vyapta mahadari sakhamukam kadgogra Valgan Maha Jihva Nirgama Drishyamana Sumaha Damshtra Yugodhamaram. The verse is difficult to chant because all are Samasapada, describing the glory of Lord's face, how he appeared. The entire body was being talked about here. We'll go into Anvaya first. Tapta Swarna Savarna Gurna Dadi Rukshaksham. Then Sata Kesara Protkamba Pranikumbita Ambaram. Splitting the words. Vyapta Mahadari Saka Mukham Kadgogra Valgan Maha Jihva Nirgama Drishyamana Sumaha Damstra Yuga Uddhamaram Aho Tava Idam Vapuhu Jiyat. This is the, we know what the word is. Tapta Swarna, the molten gold. Gurnat means rolling. Ati Ruksha, very fierce. Akshi means ice. Rukshaksham, very fierce ice. Sata Kesara, mane or the thick mass of hair. Protkampa, shaking. Pranikumpita, covered. Ambaram, sky. Vyapta means wide open. Mahadari, huge cave. Saka, like mukam, a cave like mouth, that's what it means. Then Kadgogra, fierce like a sword. Valgan, quivering. Mahajikva, huge tongue. Nirgama, lolling out. Drishyamana is revealed. Sumaha Damstra Yuga, a pair of huge molars. Uddhamaram, frightening. Aho, Tava Idam Vapuhu, that wonderful form of thine. Jiyat, hail unto it. Hail unto that wondrous form of thine, whose eyes were of the color of molten gold, were rolling and very fierce, whose shaking manes covered the whole sky, whose huge cave-like mouth was wide open, and which was most terrifying, with a pair of huge molars, which were revealed when the huge quivering sword-like tongue lolled out. This is the literal meaning of the verse. In this, there are things which are talked about are the eyes. Fivefold description is covered here. The eyes are talked about, which it is said they are like the molten gold. Tapta Kanchana it is mentioned about. The mane, the hairs which covers the body, this is the manes, the thick mass of hair, they look as though they are covering the entire sky. And the mouth is talked about, which is cave, look like a big cave. When it is wide open, it looks like a cave. And the teeth, which the tongue is talked about, which is sharp like a sword. And the teeth are talked about, that is the use word is molar. Molars means they are called the tongue, the teeth which are used with a rounded or flattened surface adapted to grinding. We call them as a wisdom tooth. So those pair of two wisdom tooth, they are called as molar. And then in some books they also call it as the incisors also. That is the four-pointed teeth towards the front of the teeth mouth, which are called canines. And those between that, they are called the incisors. They are having a sharp edge. They are used for cutting. Here, these teeth are actually of cutting, means they are very sharp edge. So either way, molar or incisors. The word incisor is talked about here can be resembled because it is like a sword which is resembles to a sword which is used for cutting. Because the comparison is given to the teeth like a which is and tongue which is sword sharp like this. Therefore, this comparison is there. So the molten gold has the brilliance and which is similar to the eyes which are rolling and frightening. Then whitish sharp mane of hair as though they are covering the entire whole sky. These are all the figurative expressions. Mouth is like the wide open huge cave, and tongue is which is like a huge fierce and quivering sword which lolls out. So this is the expression, frightening expression, at the same time very powerful, which can cause fear to anyone. This form, although induces fear generally, but for devotees like Prahlada, it is a form of blessing, because Prahlada sees the Vishwarupa of the Lord. Therefore, these are all the glory of the Lord. Therefore, there is no fear for a bhakta, a devotee. And for other means like Hiranyakashipu, it is grossly frightening indeed, because Bhagavan has taken avatar to to kill Hiranyakashipu, and therefore to Hiranyakashipu it is frightening. This should be seen in this manner. The description is further continues in verse number 4. In this context, we will also cover what is mentioned in the Bhagavatam also. That is covered in verse number 21 and 22, which I will read because I want to keep in touch with the Bhagavatam also here. Verse number 20. Mimam samanasya samatito grado nrasimha rupastadalam bhayanakam pratapta chamikara chandalojanam spurat sata kesara jrimpitanam. So the Lord's form was so glorious that Hiranyakashipu says, Mimam samanasya, he was contemplating or wondering on the form of the Lord. That was the Lord's form, and it says it is very fearful. It talks like that. And because the explanation here is given as Chandalochana, because of his angry eyes which resembled the molten gold. Again the term explanation here given is Pratapta Chamikara. Then Sata Kesara, words are similar to use, which are shining manes. Then which expanded the dimension of his fearful face. The face is here described as Brukuti Mukam Ulbhanam. That's the word used here. Brukuti Karam Ulbhanam. It goes into the next verse also. I'll read together then. It gives Karala Damstram Karavala Chanchala Kshuranta Jikhvam Brukuti Mukolbanam Stabdodvakarnam Girikantaradbhuta Vyattasyanasam Hanubheda Bhishanam. So the Lord was contemplating on that because these two verses are going together. So I am giving the meaning together. He says that the angry eyes, they are looking like the Chandalochana, which resemble like the Pratapta Chamikara Chandalochana, the molten gold, Sata Kesara, the shining manes, which expanded covered the entire, as though the entire sky, Brukuti Mukol Bhanam. Ulbhanam is also the fearful face, it says, Brukuti Mukol Bhanam. Then Karala Damstram is the deadly teeth talk about. Then he talks about the Karavala Chanchala Churanta Jikhvam, razor-shaped tongue, razor-sharp tongue, which moved about like a dueling sword, fighting sword. There is an expression here given here. Karavala Chanchala. Chanchala means quivering. So Karavala Chanchala, Karala Damstram. Then it's talked about also the ears also talked about here, which were erect and motionless. Stabda means erect, urdhva facing upward, karnam, ears. Then Girikantara. Girikantara means the cave of a mountain. Talking about the mouth which is Vyattasya, open, wide open. And Nasam also talked about. Therefore the comparison is made of Nasam and mouth, nostril and mouth, which are wide open. Then finally he says, Hanubheda Bhishanam. The jaws which are Hanubheda. Hanu means the jaws. Bheda means separation. Bhishanam means frightful. So the fearful appearance, fearful jaws, which causes fear due to the separation of the jaws. So the wide open mouth, the teeth projecting out, the tongue rolling out, all this is also covered in these two verses of the Bhagavatam. Bhattacharya Bhatta has almost tried to capture the same description which is given in the Bhagavatam. We'll move on to the next verse number 4 in the next session. Namostute Mahayogin Prapanna Anushadimam Yata Tacharanam Boje Retisyad Anapayini Bhave Bhave Yatha Bhakti Padayostava Jayade Tata Kurusha Devesha Natastum Noyata Prapo Nama Sangirtanam Yasa Sarvabhava Pranasram Pranamo Dukka Samanaha Tam Namami Harim Param. Narayana Akila Guru Bhagavan Namaste. Ya Devi Stuyade Nityam Vibhudair Veda Paragaihi Same Vasatu Jihvagre Brahma Rupa Saraswati. Ya Shraddha Dharana Medha Vagdevi Vidhi Vallabha Bhakta Jihvagra Sadhana Shamadhi Gunadhayini. Namami Narayana Padavangajam Karumi Narayana Pujaram Sada Vadami Narayana Namadharmalam Smarami Narayana Tattvamabhyam. Yasya Prasadat Ahame Vishnuhu Mayyeva Sarvam Parikalpitamcha Ittam Vijanami Satatmarubam Tasyangri Patnam Pranatosmi Nityam. Dhyanamoolam Gurur Murtihi Puja Moolam Gurur Padam Mantra Moolam Gurur Vakyam Moksha Moolam Gurur Kripa. Apara Karna Sindhum Jnanadam Shantarubinam Sri Chandrasekharendra Gurum Namami Mudanbaham. Invoking the grace of Vagdevi Goddess Saraswati, Guru Vairappan, Mahapariva and Guru Parampara, we are now entering into verse number 4 of Dasakam 25. Utsarpad Balibhanga Pishanahanu Rasvastabiyastaraha Givam Pivaradoshatod Gatanaka Kuram Shudurolbanam Vyomolanghi Ghana Ganopama Ghana Pradvana Nirdhavitaha Spardhalu Pragaram Namami Bhavata Tannarasimham Vapuhu. Utsarpad Balibhanga Bhishanahanu Rasvastabiyastara Gribam Pivaradoshatodgata Naka Kruram Shudurolbanam Vyomolanghi Ghana Ganopama Ghana Pradvana Nirdhabita Spardhalu Pragaram Namami Bhavata Tannarasimham Vapuhu. Anvaya. Utsarpat Balibhanga Bhishanahanu Pivara Doshatodgata Naka Kruramshu Dhurolbanam. All Samasavata. Vyomolanghi Ghana Ganopama Ghana Pradvana Nirdhavita Spardhalu Pragaram Bhavataha Tat Narasimham Vapuhu. Utsarpat Balibhanga Bhishanahanu. Utsarpat means that which is facing or drawn upwards. Balibhanga forming a fold or fold formation like. So the Hanu means the chin, which is Bhishanahanu, chin looking fierce. Why? Because of the folds on the skin which were drawn upward. Pivara dosha satodgata nakar kruramshu dhurolbanam. Pivara means stout. Then doshata 100 hands, udgataha emanating, kruramsu sharp praise, dhurolbanam most terrifying. Prior to that, Hrasvastabiya Staragrivam. Hrasvastabiya Staragrivam. Hrasvaha means short. Stabiya Taragrivam. Grivam is neck. Which is Pivaraha means the stout. So a stout and short neck. That's what meaning is. The Pivara has to go with this. Then Doshataha. Doshata means 100 hands. And Udgataha means emanating. Kruram Shuhu, the sharp rays. Durol Banam, most terrifying. Vyomol Langi. Vyomaha means sky. Ullangi, touching the sky. Ghana Ganopama, like the thunder of a thick cloud. Ghana means thick cloud. So Ghana Ganaha. Then which is Gana means fierce. So Gana, Ganopama, Gana. So the thunder of a thick cloud which is fierce. Again all fierce aspects talked about. Then Pradvana means the roar. Nirdhabita which drives away. Spardhalu Pragaram, the host of the rivals. Aluprakaram is talked about here. Then Pradvana, there is the roar. Nirdhabita, driven away. Spardhaluprakaram is the host of the rivals. That's the meaning of this Samasabada. Then he says, Bhavataha Tat Narasimham Bapuhu. That form of thine as Narasimha Namami. Aham Namami, I salute. Meaning, I salute that Narasimha form of thine with a chin looking fierce because of the folds on the skin which were drawn upward, of course while roaring, with a short and very stout neck which was most terrifying, with sharp rays emanating from the nails of the numerous stout hands which touched the sky and which was driving away the hosts of enemies by its fierce roar, which was like the thunder of a huge thick cloud. All figurative expression pointing out or bringing out the glory of the Lord in all his manifestations. So in this, continuing from the earlier verse, Dasakam, verse number 3, we are now on the fourth verse. In this verse, he's talking about the neck, which is griva, which is short but very stout. Pivara taraha is the word used. And the hands are considered to be dosataha, means 100 hands, which are mighty. 100 mighty hands with outstretching claws. That means the hands, those nails, naka is called also claws, because in the case of a lion it is claws, or you can use the nails also. These outstretching nails or claws, which are shining and instilling fear. Durol bhanam, and ulbhanam is very strong and very terrifying. And the hands, although touching the sky, vyomaha ullangri. So the hands are talked about. Then the roar is talking about fierce or tumultuous roars. Ghana, roar means pradvana, like that of a dark cloud or a thunder, originating in huge, thick or dense cloud. So the thunder, the sound which is originating from the dense cloud is being compared here to the fierce roar of the Lord. Gana, ganopama, like that. Then which was driving away, nirdhabita. Whom it was driving away? The hosts of enemy. Prakara means the horde or hosts. Enemies means the rivals. Enemies or rivals. Spardhalu. So Spardhalu prakaram. This is how the expression is given here. We'll also read the relevant verse in Bhagavata, which also talks about this. Last time we completed verse number 21. We will now move on to verse number 22 and part of 23. I will first read the verse and then give the meaning also. Which is almost similar to what Bhattacharya said. Bhattacharya has taken most of this from Bhagavata only. That is being brought out here. Divisprishat kaya madhirga pivara grivorvaksha stalamalpa madhyamam chandram shugair aschuritam tanuruhair vishak bhujani kasatam nakayudam durasadam sarvaniche tarayuda prabeka vidra vitadaitya dhanabam. I'm reading only 23rd one because that will come. Only we'll cover this meaning in this session. It says his entire body, that is Kayam means touched the sky. Divisprasaha, the same expression as you said, Vyomo Langrihi. Here he says, the which touched the sky, they are also used here. Although Vyomo Langrihi, the same person is used, yes. Divisprasaha. So his entire body touched the sky. Then his neck was adhirga, short, and pivara, same expression borrowed, very, very stout. Then grivoru vakshaha, his chest is uru means chest, broad. Uru broad means uru, so broad chest. Grivoru vakshasthala. Then waist is talked about. Madhyamam means the middle portion of the body. We can call it as the waist. So his thin waist, alpa madhyamam, thin waist. Then the hairs on his body is talked about, tanuruhaihi, which are they? As white means gauraihi, it is saying gauraihi, like the chandramshuhu, like the rays of the moon. So comparison is made with the rays of the moon, white, and the hairs are thick, of course. Tanuruhaihi. This Bhattatribhata also is covered in the previous verse in Narayaneeyam. His arms is talked about, bhujana, his bhujana, anekasana, hundreds of rows of hands. Vishwak means spreading in all directions, resembling like the soldiers, the army, the row of soldiers. That is what is meant to wear. It says, Durasadam, difficult to conquer. Why? Because this is a huge form he is talked about. As he is giving explanation here. Sarva nijeta rajudha. Sarva means all, nija, his own weapons, natural weapons. Bhagavan's weapons are not coming from outside because he is a Shankha, Chakra, Gada, Dhari. So his own Shankha, Kon, Chakra, Disc, etc., Gada, Mace, and other Itaraha, he says, all others are the weapons. He said, so this is coming from his own body. Sarva nijeta rajudaha praveka means they are used in an efficient manner. Vidravita daitya dhanabam. Vidravita means driven, as though they are able to drive the enemies. Vidravita daitya dhanabam. Who are the enemies here? Daityas and Dhanavas. Daitya is the son of, they are all the Asuras who are the sons of Diti, and Dhanava, they are the sons of Dhanu. So both are the wives of Kashyapa. And Daitya, Diti and Dhanava, they are the sons of Daksha, who married his daughters to, we saw earlier, to Kashyapa. So that's why the word Dhanava, Daitya and Dhanava. It said that Dhanavas are also hundreds in numbers. So both the Asuras, born of Diti and Dhanu. So it says, Vidrabita Daitya Dhanavam. They drove away all the demons. The Lord killed, it means all the enemies, Daityas and Dhanavas, by his own natural weapons with his fierce form. So these weapons are used in a most efficient manner. That's what it talks about here. So with this, the description of this verse is completed. And Bhattatribhata concludes, says that, I salute or I prostrate to that Narasimha form of thine with devotion, with utmost devotion, he says, which is a source of blessing to devotees. Because Lord is a Anugraha, Ishvaraha is Anugraha Pradhana. So blessing to devotees, and also can be considered as protection of Dharma Samrakshanam. So Lord is, this falls, although he is Ugraha, he is called Ugra Narasimha now, because Lord, he has used the word Narasimha Vapuhu. Although he is Ugra Narasimha, he is Karunya Narasimha, because to devotees he has assumed this form only to kill Hiranyakashipu and Daityas and Dhanavas. But for Prahlada and devotees like Prahlada, he has taken this form that this is my Vishwarupa. I am there to bless you. I am there to protect you. Sadhu Samrakshakam Eva. So that blessing is implied, that is being conveyed by Bhattatribhata, saying that I prostrate to thy form, which is a source of blessing to devotees, and also protect me and all others, my devotees, in a similar manner from enemies like Hiranyakashipu. That is what is implied. The verse concludes in this manner. We will cover the next, go to the verse number 5 in the next session. Namostute Mahayogin Prapanna Manusadimam Yadata Charanam Bhoje Retisyat Anapayini Bhave Bhave Yata Bhaktihi Padayostava Jayade Tata Kurushva Devesha Natastam No Yata Prabhu Nama Sankirtanam Yasa Sarvabhava Pranasanam Pranamo Dukka Samanaha Tam Namami Harim Param. Narayana Akila Guru Bhagavan Namaste. Hariyo. या देवी स्तूयते नित्यं विबुधैर्वेदपारगैः सा मे वसतु जिह्वाग्रे ब्रह्मरूपा सरस्वती. या श्रद्धाधारणा मेधा वाग्देवी विधिवल्लभा भक्तजिह्वाग्रसदना समाधिगुणधायिनी. नमामि नारायणपादपङ्कजं Karomi Narayana Pujanam Sada, Vadami Narayana Namanirmalam, Smarami Narayana Tattvam Abhyayam. Yasya Prasadat Ahame Vishnuhu, Mayeva Sarvam Parikilpitam Cha, Ittam Bijanami Sadat Rubam, Tasyangri Patnam Pranadosmi Nityam. Apara Karnasindum, Jnanadam Shantarubinam, Sri Chandrasekharendra Gurum, Namami Bhutanbham, Dhyanambulam Gurur Murtihi, Puja Mulam Gurov Padam, Mantra Mulam Gurur Vakyam, Moksha Mulam Gurov Kripa. Invoking the grace of Vagdevi Goddess Saraswati, Guru Vairappan, Mahapreva, and Guru Parambara, we are now entering into verse number 5 of Dasakam 25. Nunam Vishnurayam Nihanyamumiti Brahmyat Kata Bhishanam Daitendram Samupadrabantam Adhrita Durbhyam Pritubhyamamum Viro Nirgalitotha Khadgaphalakau Grinnan Vichitrashraman Vyabrindvan Punarapapata Bhuvanak Grasodhyatam Tvamaho Nunam Vishnurayam Nihanyamumiti Brahmyat Gadhabhishanam Daitendram Samupadrabantam Adhrita Durbhyam Pritubhyamamum Viro Nirgalitotha Khadgaphalakau Grinnan Vichitrashraman Vyabrindvan Punarapapata Bhuvanak Grasodhyatam Tvamaho. Anvaya Ayam Vishnuhu Nunam Amum Nihanmi Iti Brahmyat Gata Bhishanam Samupadrabantam Amum Daityendram Pritubhyam Durbhyam Adhritaha Viraha Nirgalitaha Atha Khadga Phalakau Grinnan Vichitrashraman Vyabrindvan Bhuvanak Grasodhyatam Tvam Punaha Apapata Aho. Ayam Vishnuhu Nunam. This must be Vishnu indeed. Amum Nihanni. I shall kill him. Iti, saying so, Brahmyat Gada Bhishanam, fiercely whirling a mace or moving the mace, moving the Gada or mace, Samupadravantam Amum Daityendram. Daityendram means that Asura king who was Samupadravantam running towards Amum, the Pritubhyam Durbhyam, with thy two stout arms. Adhritaha, thou did hold Viraha Nirgalitaha, that clever Asura slipped out, Atha, and then Khadga Phalakau, sword and shield. Grinnan, holding Vichitrashraman, all kinds of feats or tricks. Vyabrindvan, displaying Bhuvanak Grasodhyatam Tvam. Tvam means the who went into a mood to swallow the whole universe. Bhuvana universe. Grasa Udhyata means mood to swallow the whole universe. Punaha Apapata, again rushed towards. Aho, wonder. That Asura king rushed towards thee, fiercely whirling a mace and saying, this must be Vishnu, I shall kill him. Thou did then hold him with thy two stout arms, and that clever Asura slipped out of thy hold, and displaying all kinds of feats with sword and shield, rushed towards thee, who were in a mood to swallow the whole universe. Continuing the fight between Hiranyakashipu and Lord, in this verse, Bhattathiri Bhatt mentioned that Hiranyakashipu murmured to himself, who can fight with me? This is given the Bhagavatam. Therefore he attacked the Lord with a mace like an elephant. He said, now seeing the Lord's form, he said, this must be Vishnu only. So therefore I will kill him. With a determination he says, who has slayed my brother Hiranyaksha. That is the Baba behind that. And he says he is a Vyaja Veshadari. Therefore he is a Mayavi. Therefore he cannot play tricks on me. With that bhavana, he took a oath that I will kill him, thinking that he is more powerful than the Lord. The word used is Nihanya. Nihanya, Ni is an upasarga, which means Nischayena Hanni. I will certainly kill him. That means he was so confident that he could kill the Lord. This is always the Asuric thinking. Asuras, due to the Rajasic, they always think that they are always powerful. That aspect is brought about. So he took that, he said that I will kill him. Then after seeing the fierce sword of form of Lord Narasimha and hearing the resounding thunder which is like a roar, Hiranyakashipu now rushed menacingly towards the Lord with this swirling mace and uttering that I will kill you. This must be Vishnu, I will certainly kill him. This is how it is portrayed here. The Lord then said, caught hold of him, grappling him with his long, stout hands. And as he was valorous, Viraha is the word used, means he is also clever also. He managed or cleverly escaped the hold, and then brandishing his sword and shield, displayed amazingly all the feats to fight again and rush towards the Lord. Then it is mentioned, the Lord also approached him in a mood as though he is going to not only kill him, he is going to swallow all the three worlds. It is the entire universe it's talked about, because that is the implied meaning is that Lord said that you Hiranyakashipu is nothing before me, because the entire universe I can swallow in no moment. He want to show that Bhava, and therefore Bhattacharya had mentioned that Lord entered, approached towards him with an intent as though he wants to swallow all the three worlds. So the power of the Lord, who is the Prabhu. Prabhu means he is the Lord of all the three universe, and that is being Vibhu also is talked about. He is the Lord of all universe is brought about here in this verse. This has been also captured in Bhagavatam, the verses from 23 to 28, where it is said, Hiranyakashipu, after seeing the Lord, murmured to himself, saying, who can fight with me? The same thing Bhattacharya also said that. Then he attacked the Lord with mace like an elephant. It is mentioned here, Nadan Nrisimham Prati Daitya Kunjaraha, like an elephant. Like an elephant, Hiranyakashipu attacked the Lord with a mace like an elephant. Kunjaraha, he says. In fact, Kunjaraha is an analogy. The Lord is a huge form, Narasimha divine, and here is like a Kunjaraha, a small elephant. That analogy is brought out. Then it is mentioned, the Lord struck the Asura along with his mace, just as Garuda might capture a snake. So the Lord was also playing with him. And it is mentioned there, I think in verse number, and the message is given that the Lord played with him. It is mentioned in verse number 25 that the Lord played with him like Mahoragam Tarkshasuto Yatagrahit. Tarkshasuta means the son of Tarksha, that is the Garuda is talked about. How the Garuda held the snake, Mahavraga, the greatest snake. Similarly, the Lord also was playing with him, that he was capturing Hiranyakashipu, who is like a great snake. And Garuda is, of course, Lord's Vahana. Therefore, the Garuda is brought about. Before Garuda, the snake is nothing. Similarly, that Bhava is brought about here also. Before the Lord, Hiranyakashipu is nobody. Therefore, this analogy is given in Bhagavata as Mahoragam Tarkshasuto Yatagrahit. In the verse 24, for it is talked about, just as a small insect falls forcefully into a fire and becomes invisible, so also Hiranyakashipu, when he was attacking the Lord, he also became almost invisible, because the Lord is self-effulgent. Before that Prakasha, Swaprakasha, the Chaitanya, Hiranyakashipu is nothing. And therefore, he fell into the hands of the Lord. That's what he's trying to say here. In fact, it's mentioned there that during the Srishti, analogy is given, the Lord enters the dark universe, Anuprabhesa it is called, which was in follow. The dark universe means it is the universe which was in Pralayam. And then he illuminated by his self-effulgence. Bhattatripita also has mentioned that he entered as though he wanted to swallow the whole universe. And here the analogy in this verse number 24 of Bhagavatam, chapter 8, the comparison is where may say the Lord entered the dark universe, means dark means which was in Pralayam, and then he brought it into light, self-effulgence, Swayam Jyoti. That way the Lord had the power. That power of the Lord was brought about here. And then it said in verse 28, for example, like a hawk, Hiranyakashipu moved up and down in the sky with eyes closed due to fear of Narasimha's loud laughter. Maha attahasa is the word they used here. Kritva attahasam, with a loud laughter. And then Lord allowed him also to slip from his hand. When Lord allowed him to slip, Hiranyakashipu construed wrongly that Lord was afraid of his prowess or prowess. And therefore, he again came back and attacked the Lord with all might. This is how it is being narrated in Bhagavata also. And Bhattatripad continues further on the climax of it in the next verse, which we will cover in the next session. Namostute Mahayogin Prapanna Manushadimam Yathata Charanam Bhoje Ritihi Syadanapayini Bhave Bhave Yatha Bhakti Padayostava Jayate Tata Kurusha Devesha Natastam no Yata Prabhu Nama Sankirtanam Yasya Sarvabhava Pranasanam Pranamo Dukkha Samanaha Tam Namami Harim Param Narayana Akila Guru Bhagavan Namaste Hari Om.